Welcome to the Hard Parking Podcast, special edition COVID-19. Before I continue, though, I got to tell you about Talk Mobile. Talk Mobile is an innovator in retail and works with organizations like T-Mobile to operate stores throughout Arizona, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Louisiana, all of which are probably on lockdown or soon to be on lockdown. For more information to jumpstart your career, please visit www.talkmobilenet.com. The good thing about that is you don't have to go into the store. You don't have to leave your house. You just have to go to the website, talkmobilenet.com, and get started. Broadcasting to you from Rancho Mirage, California. In just a moment, I'm going to be joined by RadOrDie. We're going to talk about how coronavirus has essentially the hysteria of shopping and shutting down big events in an effort to prevent the spread. So I traveled out to work this week. Last week I was working from home, and it's just, I was scheduled to work from home. March, I was supposed to go 50-50, which means on a week and at home a week and then back on site. A lot of people, we didn't really talk about it at work. The manager, I kept checking the email and they didn't really say anything about consultants staying home. So I flew out. And as expected, the airport was not that busy. For a 7:45, 8:15 flight, it was probably 2 a.m. busy. So for those of you who have gone to the airport several times, you know what I'm talking about. Or you've gone on those long vacations with your family and you've taken the red eye. So I was upgraded to first class, which is great. I don't know if I want to be upgraded to first class during these times because first class is very small. The rest of the airplane is spread out. So I had a guy sitting next to me. We're ordering drinks, or pre-flight drinks. So I order a Woodford Reserve. The guy next to me orders like a triple vodka something, and the guy across orders a triple Jack Daniels. And this is the pre-flight drink. So I'm kind of looking at these guys like, oh, okay, you must be trying to kill the virus. So they suck their drinks up. We get into the air. The woman comes by, is like, hey, do you want more drinks? I was like, no, I'm good. They order the same thing. Granted, guys, this is a 45-minute flight. I'm like, these guys are sucking down, and these are older cats too. These guys are sucking down liquor. But one thing that the flight attendant did differently, they come around with a basket. Typically, when you're in the first class on the short flight, you can pick out snacks. So they have like kettle chips and cookies and just some of those random shit that they probably can't sell in the store. So they push them off on the airlines. But this time they had them on a tray laid out, and the flight attendants have on gloves. And now with the COVID, they say, well, just point to what you want and we'll hand it to you. So I thought that was interesting. I think this is changing the way that this country is viewing sanitation. It's forcing people who are otherwise dirty as hell to wash their ass. And people who typically practice good sanitation anyway takes it to the next level. Get to the airport. These last couple months, the airport has been packed in Palm Springs. Definitely not packed this week. Go up to my guy, Rich. You guys know Rich. I said, what do you got for me today, Rich? And he goes, Jay, you're the only one of my regulars that came in this week. What are you doing here? It's like, I'll schedule to come in. What do you want to drive? I don't know. What do you got? Well, of course, I didn't get anything cool, but I did grab a Jeep Grand Cherokee, which I will probably talk about later. Anyway, this morning I got up and I went to, I'm staying right down the street from Whole Foods. Love Whole Foods sometimes. Love their breakfast, though. They have a hot bar. So what you do is you go in there and, you can get egg whites, you can get scrambled eggs, you get fake eggs, you can get cheddar eggs. You get biscuits, you can get sausage, bacon, normal breakfast shit. So what I usually do is take a little scoop, and it's by weight, by pound. It's like $8.50 a pound. If you think that's expensive, it's really not. If you eat a pound of food per meal, you're eating a lot of food, or you're eating the wrong food. It's not hard to get a pound worth of potatoes. It is hard to get a pound worth of salad in the same size container, because a pound is a pound, right? For all you smart asses listening. What I typically do is I get a scoop of eggs and I grab like fucking a ton of bacon, because bacon is not heavy. And I'll go in the office and I'll have a little bit of eggs for me in a separate container, and I'll have 15, 20 strips of this delicious bacon. Then I'll hand it out to my coworkers, whatever. This morning I go in there because, man, I really want this breakfast. I go in there and all the food's gone. I'm like, what the hell? Oh, they're doing that thing. They're doing that thing. And they got one person working the register, because I was thinking about just picking up something like a snack bar or some stupid shit to justify the trip. And they have one register open, and the line literally went to the back of the store. I said, fuck that, I'm out. Went across the street to McDonald's. You like how I just went from Whole Foods to McDonald's? Went to McDonald's. This one doesn't have a drive-through. Right, McDonald's do exist without drive-thrus. Walk inside, all the tables, all the chairs are up on the tables and they're cleaning. And the dining room's not open. They don't want it to be open. Nobody around here has an open dining room because of these times. Order the food, leave. Thought that was crazy. Stop by Starbucks, my normal Starbucks, walk in, all the chairs, everything's put up. Looks like a dance floor. I said, hey. They go, oh, hey, Jay, because they know Jay by now. This is a location closest to my job because there's a few locations. This one doesn't really mess it up when I'm always crying about Starbucks. Another one about a mile down the road messes it up. I go in there and I said, oh, so the dining room's obviously closed for people sitting down, but you can still do your mobile orders and pick up your coffee or order right there, and grab your shit and go. Grabbed my coffee and left, came back at 3:00 like I typically do, and the door's closed. Some old man was out there and he was just bitching up a storm. I guess he's a regular and he couldn't get his free cup of coffee refill. And so he just stood out there for like 20 minutes complaining to anybody who walked up. I'm a little pissed, very first worldy, right? Because I ordered coffee on the mobile app. I show up and the door's locked. I'm like, okay, well, this just means obviously I just have to go to the drive-thru. That's a nightmare drive-thru. It's always wrapped around. So I get in the drive-thru to pick up my coffee and I ask them, is the dining room going to be closed indefinitely? Like, you can't even come in and pick up your coffee. You need to come through the drive-thru. Yeah. I go, oh, okay. So like tomorrow morning, they go, yeah. I go, okay, fine. Like, what am I going to do? Pull the lady through the drive-thru window and do bad things? No. But now I don't know what I'm going to do because using the mobile app is the whole reason why you just pull up, you go inside, grab your shit and go. You don't have to stand in line. You don't have to sit in a long ass drive-thru line. I'm at a loss. You know what I'm going to do? Actually, I think I'm going to I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to reach out to Mimi because she's probably waiting. When we come back, we're going to talk to RadOrDie. And we're going to find out what her opinion is on all this crazy shit.
Hello.
Hey.
What's up?
What is up, RadOrDie? Thank you for taking the time.
No worries.
I know you're probably pressed for time.
Whatever you need. I've poured a glass of wine and my time is now yours.
Well, happy Valentine's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Did the wine throw you off?
It did. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. She drinks, but not a lot. No. But happy St. Patrick's Day. I have a Hudson single malt whiskey.
Nice.
This is one of their small batch bottles that for some reason cost just as much as their normal bottles. It's been on my work desk for about a month unopened because I broke the little wax thingy on it.
Right.
And I forgot I have these tiny sewing scissors from one of those little those sewing kits that fix, for your buttons. And so I whipped that out and kind of cut it off. So
it seems like you're a big whiskey drinker. You probably need to
I dabble.
Try and introduce me to some new whiskeys. You're like an adventurer when it comes to whiskey.
Mikasa Sukasa.
Yeah.
Just last weekend, I finally got Yvette to drink Macallan's Scotch just basically by itself. It had like a twist of orange in it and
so I like it.
Luxardo cherry. Well, that's like a major thing for her.
Nice. I think Matt and I enjoy going to like the cigar bars. You find like a good whiskey, a nice cigar, you sit down and just chill. But we would prefer to do it in our own backyard so you don't get everybody else's cigar mixed in with yours. Kind of messes up all the flavors. But
I don't fuck with cigars.
That's my dad's fault. My dad was like a cigar smoker, and being a Sicilian dad, he didn't have any sons. So,
Sure.
Tough little RadOrDie over here was like, yeah, sure, I'll try a cigar.
Have a cigar. Fuck you. You're going to play football whether you like it or not.
And there it was. So I'll enjoy a nice cigar. But it does go much better with a really good whiskey.
Yeah, you have to pair it. I mean, I've seen they make whiskey glasses or bourbon glasses with a little notch to hold your cigar.
Yeah, that's kind of neat.
I have a friend that has some of those in Texas, of course, right? Texas, right? As I told people in my opening, these events just keep getting closed. So we have Chandler Cars and Coffee this weekend. Did they finally officially pull the plug on that?
They haven't, and I'm kind of surprised for two reasons. Because it's held at Nieder's Bakery, right? And Nieder's Bakery it gets packed. As many people as you can imagine lining up for the breakfast, especially that French toast. I haven't heard them cancel just yet, but I feel like it's coming any day now. Every day there's something new popping up. Like today was Fuel Fest, right? Being pushed off now till September. But people think the smaller meets and events, they're not going to harm anybody. But sometimes those are, worse because everybody knows each other and you tend to kind of hug or shake hands or,
this last weekend, I was invited by Yoshi to go on this little cruise. And I told him on Friday night, I said, I don't know. When is it? It's tomorrow. And he showed me the list of cars that are going. And I'm like, okay, McLaren, R8, R8, Porsche. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. What time do we got to be there? I don't know. So I eventually end up, get up because I don't have to be there at 7:30. He says they're leaving at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
He goes, we're meeting at 4 till 4. I go, okay, that's fine. We'll meet at 4 till 4. So I leave the house at like 8:15. I get there and it's like exotic cars day or fast cars day or whatever they're calling it.
I'm upset I missed it. I was planning on going, by the way, and I didn't go.
It's cool.
It's cute.
It's not really.
Cute.
I went for JDM day once. I don't know. I prefer. And it is what it is, right? But I mean, I still prefer like, Chandler Cars and Coffee. And
stuff. Yeah. I like the variety. It's definitely different. I just feel like I need to experience it between this tiny little coffee shop. I'm a city girl. I love like those little tiny itty bitty, like no one could really fit in it type spots. That's definitely 4 till 4. Yeah. We go on this cruise. It ends up being like, I don't even know how many cars, 20 cars or so. I saw the photos. It looks legit.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, there's a lot of cars. I mean, I could have not showed up. It's not like Yoshi really wanted me to go. Like, seriously. I was like, all right, fine, I haven't seen him in a while.
Right.
He brought Skylar, his son. And
aww.
But, yeah. But we had a good time. But I guess the point is, you could do a cruise because you're all staying in your cars. And there wasn't a lot of handshaking going on. There was some fist bumping and stuff.
Yeah, elbows. That's the new thing.
Elbows. There was a lot of I don't know. Hopefully people got up and washed their hands. I know I washed my hands probably 30 times that day before 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
But you can still do stuff like that.
Yeah, it seems like there's like even me. I do the RadOrDie pre-meets, and like. The thing is, though, I do get out of my car and I always tell everybody I'm a hugger. And it's funny because I do it out of anxiety because I get awkward and I don't like the space between us. I know that sounds crazy, but I would prefer to like hug somebody and get it over with and just be like, okay, I broke the ice. And then rather than just like stand across from each other and awkwardly be like, hey, I'm Mimi. You know what I mean? Like. So,
I usually tackle people I don't know.
Yes, exactly. And it's
like from the blind side.
It's like an initiative thing. Like it's like it's almost like you're welcoming welcome. I can't even talk right now. That's rough. You're just
what are you drinking? Wine, huh?
And what's funny is like I've had like 4 sips. I'm just sitting down for like the first time today and relaxing. I'm usually talking all day to people, be it on the phone or even through my fingers. So I try to give my thumbs a break at the end of the day. But my face...
You smoke a little hippie lettuce?
No, I can't even do that. I can't even mess with that. I wish I could. Yeah. It probably would help me out with those weird, awkward anxiety situations, and I wouldn't awkwardly be forcing hugs upon people.
So have you had to go to the store? Or are you seeing anything crazy in the store in Scottydale?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it might be because I'm in a highly populated area, right? So I chose to move to like Old Town Scottsdale area. I mean, let's just say Sprouts, Bash's, Fry's, CVS, Target, Walmart, any store you can think of within like a good solid 5-mile radius for a good 2 weeks now has been out of toilet paper. Paper towels were still on the shelves the last time I went to the store, but according to my husband, when he went out a couple days ago, like literally no lunch meats, no eggs, no toilet paper, no paper towels, no alcohol, no Lysol. He's like,
and by alcohol, we're talking like rubbing alcohol,
yes,
right?
Exactly. Thank you. Isopropyl, 100%, the stuff that people like to use to help disinfect, bleach, all of that jazz. And then it got worse. So my son's father, who I'm really close with, we co-parent with my son, he actually picked my son up yesterday and he was at the store and he's like, dude, there are no eggs. There is nothing.
No eggs.
I was like, I'll swap you some eggs for some TP because his mom sent him like 4 or 5 giant batches of toilet paper, I want to say. So we were kind of joking around about swapping out, but it's bad. Although I've had some friends tell me on the outskirts of where I am, gas stations still have toilet paper. I have yet to find that gas station because both my husband and I have stopped at one and they were out. So Currently, I am down to 2 rolls, and that is because a good friend donated 2 rolls to me, knowing I was down to 1 roll just a few days ago. So right now, I'm on edge. What do
So
we
you
do?
have 1 roll on the roller and 2 on standby, or you have like...
No, I got 1 on the roller and 1 on standby. But like 2 days ago, I had 0. Like it was getting to the point where I literally put out an SOS. Yo, does anybody have TP? And a really good friend of mine literally like rolled into the office. She handed me like 2 rolls in a plastic bag, and I could have like, it's so crazy, right? Like something that simple, that small of a gesture, it almost made me cry because it makes you think about how insane the world gets in a state of panic. Imagine all the old people right now who are struggling, and that upsets me because I have a 98-year-old grandmother, and keeping in touch with her, making sure she's cool, but she can't get to the store.
Right.
She's got to have somebody go do that stuff for her, and if that person can't find those things, it's like, what do?
Right.
It's scary times. When people panic, man, they panic. Like a lot of false
and the
information out there.
profiteers, the profiteering group.
People rolling around
They're part
in
of
parking lots.
they're part of the problem.
And with minivans full of toilet paper, trying to sell it on the side to make a buck. It's like, for real.
So I know here in California, that's illegal for times of crisis items. Like you can't go and buy a bunch of generators because you know that something's about to get fucked up, and then turn around and sell them.
Right.
For 5 times as much during those times of crisis. Like it's a straight up law. Let's I have a friend in Seattle.
Okay.
Which I consider ground zero.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm going to bring him on the line and
Okay.
kind of hear from him. All right. Let's call Alex. Alex, what's happening up there in Seattle? So you're not in Bellevue anymore, right? Or are you still in Bellevue?
No, we're just south of there, down in Newcastle.
Like the beer?
Kind of like the beer.
I used to love Newcastle, man. Like when I thought I was starting to get fancy and move on from the cheap shit, like a Miller Lite, I graduated to Newcastle.
The Newcastle brown ale. Good stuff.
Brown ale, man. It's like iced tea. So what's going on there in Newcastle?
Coronavirus 2020.
No, it's coronavirus 19.
I saw
COVID-19.
I saw a meme the other day.
I feel like that was a marketing error.
Which for coronavirus?
Oh, the 19?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they screwed it up. I feel like it should be 20 for some reason.
Could be 19 flavors. Like Dr. Pepper has the 23 flavors.
Oh, God, let's hope not.
So have you and Jen gone to the store and tried to pick up anything, or what's the pulse on the street? Are people acting super weird? Or people just going along their normal business? Or you have stuff shut down?
Man, honestly, it's a little weird. It's I've had to leave the house a few times to go to the store to pick stuff up, and I've expected there to be nobody at the store, and every time I go, it's just packed. There's like people everywhere. Like even today, I took the Ducati out for a spin, and I was just floored with the amount of people that were like on the road, walking around, just doing stuff. It's interesting. But then on the other hand, like I had a meeting on campus at Microsoft today, and they're basically shut down until like the first week of April.
Now, do they just send people home, like work remote, or do they?
Yeah. So essentially it's like, unless you absolutely have to, don't show up to work. And so
essential personnel.
Yeah. One of the buildings that I typically work in when I'm out there is packed full of people, right? I mean, there's just people, you go in there and there's people everywhere. But today, because this stuff that I'm working on is like, we literally have to review it in person. It's like print work. So we have to show up, but there's literally nobody else in the building when we get there. It's
like going in on a Saturday.
Yes, exactly. It's like going in on a Saturday, but it's a Tuesday, and it's like a little apocalyptic. But then you leave and you go to the grocery store and you expect nobody to be there, and it's like packed full of people. And there's stuff on the shelves too, right? They're not like out of everything, except for toilet paper and hand sanitizer. Yeah, sanitizer.
Yeah, toilet paper, sanitizer, and towels. Everything else you wouldn't even know, right?
Yep.
Let me ask you this: do you feel like people are nicer than normal, or just like a little bit more awkward than normal?
Well, I mean,
people nice in your area anyway.
In Seattle?
I think people are people are nice. It's not like Michigan nice, you know. It's not like Midwest nice. People are nice, but they don't generally want to talk to you, you know. It's like people will wave or say hi, but it's like, don't bother me. So it's not, I would say it's not any more so than typical. But people definitely people keep their distance a little bit more. You know,
I'm noticing that too. The distance thing.
6 foot. Yeah, it's like a social distancing thing. Yeah.
Even standing in line, I'm noticing that like people are, it's almost like, you know, when you're at the ATM machine and there's somebody there, you kind of give them their space. Usually when you're at a grocery store, everyone's like right next to you. I noticed that it was kind of the same vibe where when you were at the register paying, the next person wasn't like right there loading up their stuff. They were like, as if that somebody told them, no, you stay over there and wait.
Like the fucking TSA line.
Right,
yeah, but they just kind of like naturally doing that. And it seemed like everybody was a little bit more cordial and kind of like, I don't know. It just felt different when I would go out and about. I'm not saying that people are normally rude around here, but it definitely felt a little different. Like people were being very, I don't know, just as if somebody was holding up a sign telling people how to act. It was interesting.
People are scared in general, I think. You know, it's kind of a scary thing. It's like
Indeed.
It's an invisible enemy, right? You don't know. I read something online today I think it was like a Newsweek article that said 86% of the people that have it are show no symptoms.
Oh, so, yeah. We were having that discussion over dinner tonight because there was a father right now who has come out on the news. He's been like tracking everything with his sickness since he's been diagnosed with COVID. He basically said, I locked myself in my room as soon as I found out because I have like a 6-week-old baby and my wife, and I didn't want to get them sick. And you know, he's talking about like his illness in stages, and it sounds kind of like the flu, you know. So, but he said, you know, he met somebody somewhere out and about at like a meet and greet or something, and just shook hands, and that same person was also, you know, positive.
And then he licked
for
his
COVID.
Hands and put it on his hair or something.
But he was like showing no signs, like he wasn't sick at all. The other person, but this dude said he got sick pretty quickly. So. You know, it's interesting how it all depends on your immune system and how you feel, right? Because I know so many people right now that are like, oh, I'm sick. Oh, but I have allergies, or, oh, I have this. It's like, but do you? Like, maybe you're actually sick, but you're fighting it off a lot better than, you know, your next door neighbor who's in the pneumonia phase. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's different.
Oh, hold on. He says he just randomly went out and met someone he identified.
No, he was at a meet and greet. A meet and greet.
And he remembers the hands.
Person,
I think he was at the strip club.
He's like, the only person I made contact with, he's like, a person I haven't seen in a while was coming out of the bathroom. And he's like, and he's the only person I did like that whole handshake and hug thing, you know, where you pat each other's backs. He's like, that's like the only contact I made with anybody. And then, boom, he's like, he seemed perfectly
like licking
fine.
Doorknobs and stuff.
Hey man, they say that all you have to do
all the doorknobs
is get like someone who has it to breathe on you, right? So they're saying it's not like an exchange of a sneeze or a cough or something like that. They just need to breathe on you. So that's the whole 6 feet away from whoever could potentially have it is because of that, right? It seems crazy to me.
Bananas.
It's crazy. It's bananas. I don't think they still know what the hell.
So much we haven't learned. Do you guys think that we were properly prepared knowing that like a couple weeks ago it wasn't even here?
100%.
I mean, it's kind of like...
That's pretty much it. I just think we're absolutely not prepared. The guy I work with and I just sort of, you know, we watch the news at work sometimes and we kind of picked up on it at work, like while it was in the fairly early stages in China, and followed it, you know, and like we were just like every day having these conversations like, this is going to be a big thing. This is going to be really bad. Like if this gets over here somehow, I mean, it's pretty much inevitable. It's going to be ugly.
I always feel like we doubt that it's going to happen to us. You know, like I always feel like there's so much.
Of course, we're Americans. Are you crazy? No.
Not only that, it's like the media. There's a lot of people who literally fall into the trap of the media, but there's also like almost an even amount of people who know that the media is just full of shit and lies and false information, right? So you've got like this crazy mix. But it just seems like when I see other people panicking and they get to that point where they like go to the grocery store and they clean everything out, and then you walk in like just doing your normal shopping, not in a state of panic, and go, holy shit, I can't even get the things I need now for my kid and my family and my animals. Like,
it's like if you go to the grocery store to buy toilet paper because you need toilet paper, right?
Right.
And there's none on the shelves, and so you go to the next store and there's none. And then you go to the third store, and there's like 2 packs of toilet paper on the shelf. What are you going to do?
You're grabbing both.
You're going to buy both packs of toilet paper.
Dude, I haven't even found a store yet with a pack of toilet paper. I was just telling Jay I'm down to like 2 rolls, and they were donated to me from a friend who knew I had nothing. You're right. Like, you get to the point where I've gone a whole week and a half now on the hunt for something as basic as toilet paper. But it's gotten worse. Now I know people who are on the hunt for baby food, who are on the hunt for, eggs and bread and things like that, because it's just getting worse and worse. And you're right. Like, the people who weren't panicking at first, who were like, what the heck? What are you all running to the store and buying like 20 packs of toilet paper for? Now, yeah, when I come across it, damn right, I'm going to grab 2 packs of it. But I'm not going to sell it to people on the side. If anything, I'm that person who would be like my friend who donated some rolls to me. I know people who don't have toilet paper. I would hit them up and be like, yo, I found 2 packages. Do you need one for your family? You know what I'm saying?
Right. You give it back. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
I don't know if you guys use that Nextdoor app at all. I don't know if you.
No, I never heard of it, actually.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Nextdoor app, because I don't know what you're talking about, and I'm curious.
Yeah, so basically, it's, just to make an analogy everybody can identify with, it's sort of like Facebook for neighborhoods.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Basically, like, it's the app is very broad, right? But when you
did you develop this app before we continue?
I did not. I have absolutely no affiliation. No affiliation.
Cool.
But it's great. It's like, it's neighborhood based, right? So when you sign up, it asks you what neighborhood you live in or what your zip code is, and then it shows you stuff. It shows you only things from your neighborhood. It's actually been kind of useful lately because people in our neighborhood will post things like, hey, I was at the Target in Issaquah this morning and they had some toilet paper, which
they just restocked.
An actual thing that happened. Yeah, this happened to me the other day. Jen was actually in the app and she said, she was like, somebody said Issaquah Target had toilet paper this morning. And I said, well, I'm gonna be out and about, so I'll swing by there. And sure enough, they had like 3 packs left, and so I bought one.
What's it called?
It's called Nextdoor.
Yeah, local neighborhood, right?
Yep, it's super useful.
I'm like that.
454,000 reviews. It looks like it's like 4.9 out of 5 stars.
Okay,
yeah.
I can handle that. That's really good.
There's always somebody who doesn't like something because they're technologically inept.
Probably. Human error.
It's legit, man. Like, if people have like, if somebody's been like prowling around somebody's house, and they have like
a lost dog
nest video. Yeah, lost dogs, everything. If there's an accident on one of the streets locally and traffic sucks or it's blocked off, they post it. It's just a really good neighborhood utility.
I love it.
That we found useful. Yeah, especially during this times. But
yeah, I'm like it takes a village kind of a vibe. So I'm feeling this. I'm gonna do this too. As soon as we get off this, I'm gonna
sure does.
download it.
I feel like if they lock us down, which I'm sort of anticipating they will, kind of like they just did to San Francisco, I'd be willing to bet people get on Nextdoor and start sharing food and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the way that the government has done this though is so smart, but if you don't see it, it's almost like, man, don't be that blind. What they've done is basically, hey, we're going to see how many people are going to voluntarily follow directions. Because in America, it's a lot harder to pull off what they've done in China, right?
Right. You can't just.
We're going to see how many people. Yeah. Let's make people feel like they volunteered to do this, that we gave them a choice. Because now what they're doing is saying, hey, we gave you a choice and people are not following directions and it's getting worse. Like they've already started that today. Like different states are basically saying, hey, we gave you till this time to do this or do this and you're not doing it and it's getting worse. So now we're just going to shut it down. And what happens is it creates less of like a fight because then you've got the people going, well, they tried to give us the opportunity to do it on our own and no one wants to follow directions. But blame the people, not the government, right? And they turned around and said, okay, well, we can't take everybody out of work because then they're all going to riot because they're afraid they're not going to be able to buy food in the lockdown, or if something happens, they can't pay their bills. So let's make an announcement that we'll throw them $1,000 per person, just to kind of like keep everybody calm, you know? That's what's going to keep everybody calm when they finally say, guess what? We need to shut down like they did overseas. Because now, we gave you the opportunity to volunteer to do it. A lot of people did. A lot of businesses volunteered very quickly to go, guess what? We're shutting it down. And then, now they've addressed the financial issue. They've even talking about funding like small businesses, helping out with loans. It's like they're trying to cover all their bases because they have to baby Americans before they do some sort of shutdown. But every day that goes by, right, you see those numbers going up. You're like, God damn, it's just going to get worse until it gets better.
I don't know.
Feel accomplished on the Nextdoor app.
Are you
literally signing up? Are you signing up?
I just signed up
now?
already. Yep.
Are there people like, so what's it like?
Greenfield
visually?
Lakes.
Is it like Facebook visually? Is it like you can post pictures?
Didn't you hear my man? My man said it's like Facebook.
Yeah. Okay.
It looks kind of like a trader app sort of. And then, you go in first and you land on a page and it's, I get to find out who my neighbors are. Like this person. Anybody need help? I'm young and healthy with this. Wait a minute. What the fuck is she slinging? I'm young and healthy with this COVID-19 scare.
Okay, now you got like the girl next door kind of neighbor. Watch out for that one.
Yeah.
Hubba.
That leads me to like another question. So since you've been using this app for a while, what happens when like neighbors don't get along? Like, is there any sort of moderator, mediator? What's the word I'm looking for? Like who is...
Yeah, like moderators.
Making sure it doesn't get out of control. Right? Because think about it. Not everybody likes their neighbor.
I don't know that there's like actual moderators like on Reddit. Like Reddit has moderators. If like where shit hits the fan, they shut it down, I don't know that there are moderators or like admins.
Probably not.
I haven't
Can you report someone? Or like...
Probably.
I don't know because I've never tried to do it, but people bicker. You know what I mean? It's like,
oh man.
I think
check this out.
People mostly ignore it. I think in my experience.
For those low on toilet paper, I recommend a bidet. Good job by you, buddy. I recently purchased a bidet for our home. It costs $40 or $50, and it saves us a lot of toilet paper use. Yeah, because you don't have any.
Have you ever used a bidet?
It's a life changer, buddy.
I mean,
dude,
I've never used one, and
It sounds weird as hell, right?
I'm kind of afraid. I don't know why, but like I'm trying to imagine water.
Alex, I'm shocked.
Scares me.
Do you have it?
Oh, I mean,
because you guys travel all over the place. Man, we did in Italy. It's a life changer.
Yeah,
hell yeah, it is.
Supposedly they're like everywhere in Japan.
So buy stock in these? Is that what you're saying?
I've heard Japan has like these super fancy ones.
Yeah, we watched this comedian the other night. I think his name was Ronnie Chang, and he was talking about bidets and how they were a life changer.
I've seen a lot of memes and posts of like people taking like the regular shower heads and going, I made my own kind of a thing, like it's a joke. But I have considered it, and I remember like kind of throwing it out there to my son. He's very comedic about this whole situation. Sometimes I think it helps him get through it all too, but. He was like, I don't know how I feel about it. He's like, he was trying to like imagine too, the same. It's funny because we kind of try to imagine the same situation. And I was like, oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one. But I wonder if all people kind of have the same thoughts we were having. I'm not going to say it, but we were having the same kind of fear, I guess. And I wonder if that's everyone's fear before they actually try it.
So as far as being first world, so we're one of the only first world countries that wipe our ass with dry paper.
I get it, but when you're raised that
everybody
way,
else uses some sort of a water system, a damp system to clean themselves.
Oh, it makes sense. It's probably amazing.
Here's my question though: you're on the bidet or you're on the toilet. You got a bidet in your toilet. It's rinsing.
Also doubles as a water fountain.
It's doing its thing. It's doing its little rinsey rinse, and then
you don't want to get up.
You're all clean. But like, how do you dry out? I don't want to pull my underwear up on my wet.
No, listen. No, that's not how it works. Yeah.
See, that was kind of like
here's the thing.
Of our concern.
Yeah, so it sprays you off. You don't want it to end, but it does. All good things go to an end. And there's these like little towelettes that you wipe with, and you throw them away.
Oh, so you are still using
something. Yeah.
And when you say
comes with a
towelette,
towelette.
are these biodegradable towelettes? Like, is this good for the environment, or is this just adding to the same problem that we're doing, just doubling up on water supply plus paper now?
Well, it's been 6
like,
years
when you
since
run
I've
out,
gone
where
to
do you buy
Italy.
more?
I remember, we had them over there. That's all I know. It dries you off and you're good to go, and you get up and.
So why have they not invented? Okay, hear
Because
me
we're
out.
Americans.
No, like, I guess this might not work because I imagine people getting electrocuted kind of like a hair dryer. But how come they don't have like butt dryers?
Well, they probably do in Japan.
See, there's so many questions. We can keep going.
It's so here's the thing. It's not like a power washer. Listen, it's not like a power washer. It's a steady, curiously thick stream of water.
Curiously thick stream of water.
Yeah, because if you have a thick round stream of water, then it should like have force.
Sure.
Just another force to break the fecal matter off your cheeks.
You're trusting that this thing has actually done its job, because like people check.
Wait, hold up.
Am I good?
Hold up. Show of hands of everybody on this call that's used the bidet other than me.
I have not, really.
All right. I'm telling you. So
you're like, okay, I know I'm good. Okay. I trust you, Jay. I do. But I guess my question is, as a female, right? Like, I need to talk to a female about this.
There's in close proximity.
Yeah, I need to know from a female perspective how they feel about bidets, because I'm talking to two guys right now, one of which has actively used one. So I'm still not convinced.
that's fine. You don't have to be convinced. So here's the thing. Here's your takeaway. First thing you should do is go to download your Nextdoor app.
True.
Thanks, Alex, for throwing that out. I think that's going to be incredibly useful for multiple things.
Thank you for that.
I saw a lot of posts on there about what's going on right now. And then the second thing I would do.
jaysbidets.com.
That's right. Yep. I just, while we're talking, while you guys are filibustering, I bought it on, what's that website domain?
GoDaddy.
Yeah, thank you. Yep.
I
bought it on GoDaddy.
That's
I bought Jay's Bidet on
You're gonna start
GoDaddy.
a business, man. You'll be rich.
All right, guys. I want to thank both of you for jumping on. Alex, anything crazy happened, man, hit me up and we'll get you back on. It could be like one of those things where like the last time anyone hears from you.
Hey, if they start rolling the National Guard down the street, I'll take some video and give you a call.
Jesus.
I'd really enjoy that. So
Yeah, all the best, man.
It was good to talk to you.
thanks, Alex. All right, Mimi, before I let you go, I need to let you know about dressupbolts.com.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, dressupbolts.com. They have titanium bolts. You know how you're looking to show people what you have with your car for car shows if they ever continue again?
Yeah.
One of the cool things you could do is you can go to dressupbolts.com, find your vehicle. They probably have your application. These titanium bolts not only vastly improve the look of your vehicle, but also serve as a purpose, a good purpose, available to dress up the engine and engine bay.
Oh, nice.
So maybe both. They usually have kits to go with your specific application. So check them out at dressupbolts.com or follow them on Instagram at dressupbolts.com. So that's your homework. Download the app, research bidets from a woman's perspective.
Yeah, right.
And go to dressupbolts.com.
Hey, if they got them in yellow, I'm all about it.
That's what I have. Their yellow is gold, but it's more of a yellow. That's exactly what I have on my car.
Feeling it. Thanks
We'll
for
talk
having
to you
me.
later. Thanks for joining. Yep, we'll get you back on sooner than later.
All right, Jay. Have a good one.
I want to thank Alex for joining us up in Seattle to kind of talk about what's going on in his neighborhood up in Newcastle. And I also want to thank RadOrDie Mimi for joining us from Scottsdale, Arizona, to kind of share some of her experiences of what's going on. In a little while, we'll plan on bringing on some more guests from around the country. One of the good things is we get an opportunity to kind of learn what everybody else is going through. You know, is everybody going through the same thing? You know, where are we in relation to how China experienced it? Thoughts and prayers are with the people of Italy. You know, by the numbers the other day, I think I came up with 7% mortality rate for them, which is way more than anticipated. But I did take algebra twice, took geometry twice, almost had to take algebra 2 twice. So what I'm trying to say is my math sucks. What we're having, honestly, this is, and I learned about this in microeconomics. There's a thing called the tragedy of the commons. Some of you may already know about this. And by definition, the tragedy of commons is a situation in a shared resource system where individual users acting independently according to their own self-interest behave contrary to the common good of all by depleting or spoiling the shared resource through their own collective action. We have that right now. We have that right now with toilet paper, paper towels, baby wipes, sanitary wipes, hand sanitizer. So for the people who are profiteering, who went out and bought all this stuff for the sole purpose of selling it on eBay and Amazon, or what they did is technically not illegal. So I know in California, it's illegal to profiteer on items deemed as a necessity during tragic conditions, natural disasters, etc. So if a big hurricane's coming and the profiteer goes to Lowe's or the local hardware store and buys all the lumber, and then decides once everyone's houses get smashed to sell it to the people for tenfold, that's illegal. With some of these people who decided, like the New York Times published a story of a gentleman who went out and bought everything in his area. Then he decided to rent a U-Haul truck and drive 1,300 miles and fill that truck full of everything that we're short of right now. Now, he is one of many across the United States who do this because there's two sides to every coin. You can say he's immoral, he's morally bankrupt, you call him an asshole. There's a line, and he was dancing on the line, and he eventually crossed it. It's not illegal for him to buy all this stuff. It's fucked up, not illegal. It's not illegal for him to take a $1.50 thing of dispenser of hand sanitizer and turn around and sell it for $5, $6, $7 on Amazon or eBay or Craigslist. It's messed up, not illegal. But as soon as he started getting greedy, the reports were he started selling these things up to $70, $80. That's downright criminal. You're not only morally bankrupt, but you're a bona fide asshole. And don't tell me that you did it to support your family. Hopefully, my thought is he did it out of muscle memory and the morality was just gone. And what I mean by muscle memory, because there's people who do nothing but buy low and sell high. That's what they do. You find the good deals, you buy them in bulk, and you turn around and you sell them online. Because there's people, you may not have people in your area that want them all, but there's people around the country, there's people around the world. I have friends that do this. That's how they make their money. They're not necessarily rich, but that's how they make their living. There's nothing wrong with that. So if you're buying baseball cards, I don't think people even fuck with baseball cards anymore. If you're buying collectibles, limited edition items, limited edition scotch, limited edition whatever, those aren't things people need in time of tragedy. Right now, we're dealing with declared state of emergencies, multiple states, multiple cities. It's like San Francisco, 7 million people, basically all but confined to their homes because of worrying about this. Those are obviously crazy times. But like I said, as soon as you start buying that stuff and selling it to make a profit, not only are you an asshole, but you've also helped deplete a resource pool. So it's like Alex said earlier, you go to the store to buy something, empty. Buy something, empty. Buy something, empty. You find it and there's some there, you're going to buy it. You're going to buy more than one through self-preservation. You're not thinking, well, somebody else couldn't find it and I'm going to leave one for the next person. You're going to grab it because you have no idea, based on what you just saw, when it's going to restock. And that's the tragedy of the commons. It only takes one person in the tragedy of the commons example to screw the system. One thing in microeconomics that they told us, their example was a pond, a fishing pond. You have houses around the lake. Every week they stock the pond with 60 fish. There's 20 houses. Every house is allowed 3 fish. If you catch 2 fish, then a fish is going to die because nobody wants to catch more than 3 fish. Because if you do, you're worried about fucking up the situation. But as soon as somebody grabs 4 fish, stay with me here. That means somebody else is only getting 2. Once word gets around that somebody grabbed 4 fish, then everyone's going to make sure they grab their 3. But again, it's like musical chairs with food. That's basically what these people are doing. Musical chairs with toilet paper. It's not acceptable. That's the tragedy of the commons. Later on, we're going to be joined by a few more guests. I will have Jay's rental car of the week. All right, now we're joined by Nico Zaga up in the DC area. You're in DC, right?
Yeah, that's right.
What's going on up there?
People freaking out about the whole coronavirus. The usual right now, no toilet paper, no paper towel, or stuff like that. Everybody that works in the restaurant industry, but there is no salary, has been laid off.
And then can you tell the people, what do you do for work?
I working for the company funding farmers, and it's one of the pretty busy restaurant group in the East Coast. Have a pretty bad impact from the virus, so they have to take some measurements, and that translates to like lay off a bunch of employees.
So, are you able to work still, or?
No, because I'm hourly. I'm not salary. So, but I learned from early age since I've take care of myself since I was pretty young. Still have some savings and like emergency budget that I will never expect to use, but
right, and
it's coming in handy right now.
And they're saying that many people don't have that. What are you seeing out? Are people staying off the streets, or people just generally angry, or everyone's just like a ghost town?
Well, I work in DC, and I live kind of like close to DC. I live more on the Maryland border, so
right.
It's kind of like, it's mainly because there are like so many restaurants in such a small area, 3,000 to 4,000 restaurants. Like they are not allowed to have any like walk-in customers into the restaurant, but they are allowed to you can place your order to go or curbside of call the restaurant and place an order to go. And then you can walk into the restaurant. You cannot get inside. They will bring the food out to you. If you go to the supermarket, especially because there's so few in the DC, in the actual DC, I think there's like a Target and maybe 2 Whole Foods and like Costco, but it's like fairly small to the ones in the suburbs. Then people are going out and like buy food from the restaurants. I mean, right now they just passed. I don't know if it's law, but they are allowing restaurants to sell you alcohol, so you can have like a cocktail to go, just like we are in New Orleans. Which I think is pretty cool.
It sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, so you can buy your favorite cocktail for any restaurant, and you can just go and then they'll bring it to you outside, and then away you go. I mean, you can buy it. I don't know if the rule says you can drink it outside, but I mean, it's in a to-go container, so
right.
Nobody will know what you're drinking.
It's the honor system.
So, yeah.
Sure.
But I mean, it's cool. If my friend was posting from her restaurant because she's kind of like working back of the house now. And she's like, come and get your JMO from St. Patrick's Day. Because, a lot of people couldn't do anything, but now you can actually buy it to go.
Well, hang in there, Nico.
Yeah, I mean, supposedly we're gonna get some help from the government, but that's TBD.
Yeah. How's your toilet paper supply?
I saw this over the news, and I do like those like zombie movies and apocalyptic stuff. So I stocked up before the news. So I mean, I got some for myself, and I got like a little backup. I didn't go all crazy, but so that was Wednesday or Thursday, I think. And I went on Friday to the supermarket just to buy some regular stuff like eggs, like nothing crazy. And then people were just grabbing 2, 3, 4 stacks of toilet paper towels and all this stuff. And people were looking at each other angry. And I was like, I mean, how many toilet papers do you need? I don't know. Everybody have their own story. I'm a single dude, so I think one big pack of 28 will last me maybe a couple months, right? But I don't have any kids, so
if you're going through 28 rolls of toilet paper in a couple months as a single person, you gotta go get that shit checked out.
Yeah, but I don't know these people. I don't know how many kids do they have. I don't know if they're living with their parents. I don't know if they're buying for them and their relatives. So there's a lot of variables that we don't know, and people make the decision on based on what I think is best for them. But everybody's trying to play safe.
All right, man. We're running out of time. I appreciate it.
Okay, cool.
And like man. I said, hang in there. I'll talk to you later. Thanks, Nico.
All right, man. Yeah, you're welcome.
Bye.
See you, man.
That was Nico Zaga calling from the Washington, D.C. area. I just want to take this opportunity to thank the guests that we've had so far. Nico from D.C. We've had RadOrDie, who's chilling in Phoenix right now. And then, of course, we have Alex up in Newcastle area. think I'm going to talk about my rental car of the week, just kind of break it up. And then, in a little bit, we'll get back to some more people from around the country on this special COVID edition. So what I have this week is I have a Grand Cherokee. As I said at the start of the show, not a lot of cars had been taken, so I kind of had to pick up the litter within reason. The reason I picked the Grand Cherokee is because I've owned a couple. I used to have a 1997 Grand Cherokee Limited, and then I had a 1999 Grand Cherokee Limited, and then I had a complete piece of shit 2000 Cherokee Sport. But I haven't driven one since like 2016, and I remember I liked it. That's why I picked the Grand Cherokee, because every week I come in and they never have any for me. They usually always rent them out, and usually all I get is like the Jeep Compass or something. Anyway, so I got this nice black 2020 Jeep Grand Cherokee. It has 3,000 miles on it. It's very familiar, and I think that's what I like the most about the vehicle is Jeep, Chrysler. These companies don't switch things up that much. They just kind of upgrade the technology. But like the shifter is exactly where you expect the shifter to be, where it would be if it were a manual transmission. The USB ports are located where they're usually located, kind of in the traditional ashtray area. So they're easy to plug in, so you don't have to cramp or kind of open up the armrest to dig. And some of the other Chryslers are like that, or the Dodges are like that. The Dodges are typically, you have to lift open the armrest. It has a nice interior. It's got a nice feel to it, but being a Jeep, it has more plastic than other SUVs I've rented in the past. So those are the type of panels that kind of start shaking and making noise after a while. I love the color combo on the interior. It's black leather interior. It has some sort of like a carbon-esque, but it's not carbon fiber, just kind of a dark carbon color trim, I guess. And then some kind of a muted dark silver. So surprisingly, so this is a Grand Cherokee, but it has no heated seats, and it's a limited edition, so it's not a Laredo. It used to be when you get the limited edition, the Jeeps came in like a Laredo, which usually had the bottom half of the Jeep was, black. And then the top half was, like enamel paint. And then you had the limited. And then you had the Eddie Bauer, which is kind of like a special edition limited. Every once in a while, they'd have other ones. But now the Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited is like the second to the bottom because they have a gajillion trims. In order for you to want to have something a little bit more, you'd have to pay a lot more for it. So this one doesn't have HIDs, the high intensity discharge lights, the daytime running lamps or the DRLs. They're nothing special. And again, these are trivial things to complain about, but just understanding that the Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited was the kind of posh trim, it's a little disappointing. The rear view camera is functional. The resolution is garbage. And this is coming from driving a Mercedes and an Audi back-to-back. It's just the technology. I didn't think it'd be that much different. It's just a shitty reverse camera. Driving around in this thing, it's not the smoothest suspension. I realized that almost immediately after I left the airport. And again, thinking where I just came from, some of these other SUVs. But I remember it being a little smoother. So it's kind of a rough ride though. And I think I could live with that. And it could be because I have a bias toward the vehicles because I've always liked them. But I do have some disappointment, like I said earlier. I put it in the sport mode and it seems pretty darty, but it seems like it deactivates on its own. Some vehicles just hold that mode for you. It's hard really to believe that the Jeep Grand Cherokee is a mid-size SUV. Once upon a time, it was a full-size SUV, and then you had the SUV XLs, like an Excursion. But the Jeep Grand Cherokee was a full-size, and now it's like a mid-size SUV. It does have a nice audio system. It's got plenty of storage, plenty of seating. These things are very capable. So if you wanted to tow a car, you could, and that's one of the reasons I was looking at it. But I am a little disappointed that this trim doesn't have some of the creature comforts that the older trims used to have, even a few years back when I didn't own them, but I was kind of watching them on the market. So I'm never quite sure which trim to get. I mean, obviously I like the SRT8, but it's a little out of my price range. Would I rent this vehicle again? I think so, but I'd still like to see what else I have on the lot. It's not a terrible vehicle at all. They look good. They've always the V8s. They've always been really, real torquey. So they're a fun point and shoot, SUV. 295 horsepower. This week's rental car of the week is a black 2020 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. When we come back, we're going to find some more guests.
Hey, what's up, man?
Jimmy Crump, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Last time we talked to you, you were giving your Super Bowl prediction. You picked the Niners, I think.
Yeah, I was thinking the Niners were going to be the ones, but I really didn't have a dog in the race, though.
Same. So what's going on in Michigan? How are people acting? What are you seeing? And you're in the real estate industry. What are you guys, kind of projecting with us being in, I guess I don't know shit about the market. I just know it's down.
I mean, well, the market being down is relative, man. I mean, everything that's going on anyway, but we've been getting a lot of emails and, they're saying that, people are going to start doing like live, like video open houses, stuff like that. And I know some agents have had clients not want to see homes because of everything going on. And some sellers have actually postponed viewings on their homes that are on the market. I actually did have one cancel on me for tomorrow. That's the first time I've had anything happen like that so far. So things haven't really slowed down for me that much. But we are definitely seeing a lot of ways in which we need to kind of do our business differently. So for instance, maybe doing like FaceTime showings, like if clients don't want to be in the house, like we can go to the house and just walk them through it. Really just talking to clients and, making sure that they're comfortable with, seeing houses. And I've even had one that says she wants to go look at the house from the outside and she might write an offer without even going into it, which I advised her against. But
that's insane though.
Dude, yeah, I know. So yeah, that's the one I got canceled for tomorrow. She's like, I really like the house. She's like, if the pictures hold up, I just want to go walk around the outside. She's like, I'll write an offer on it. And I'm just like, I don't advise that. This is the first time home buyers. It's not an investor buying a flip property sight unseen, but people are going to do what they need to do.
So we're talking to my good friend Crump in Grand Rapids, Michigan, East Grand Rapids, Michigan. So it hasn't really affected you too much, but you're starting to, you guys are starting to see a behavioral difference. I understand people's trepidation, but it feels like, and I guess it's better safe than sorry, but I feel like the reaction is if we were at a 80% infection rate and a 15% mortality rate, the famous, physician that's predicting all this stuff, he always says it could happen and people hold on to the fact that it will happen. And I think that's what's causing some of this craziness. I mean, what do you think? And then what are you seeing on the store? You notice anything on stores? Do you even go to the store?
So like we were already stocked up. We just went and got some essentials, but we've actually been kind of like runners for her parents now, because, the older demographic is the one that's more susceptible. So we're just kind of, going and getting them things and letting them, stay out of harm's way. So we're just kind of helping them out. But no, I mean, my personal opinion on it, man, it's obviously it's a serious thing and you have to pay attention to it. And, when it has certain economical, like when it's going to start affecting people's livelihoods, basically, you have to pay attention. And being that I work 100% commission, I have to pay attention to that kind of stuff because if title companies start closing, if, they're not allowing us to do showings or anything, then I'm not working.
Right.
So you have to pay attention to that stuff. Me personally, I think it's people are overreacting a bit, only because, we haven't seen, we haven't really seen the death tolls and everything else, like you said, they're acting like it's 15% mortality and 80% infection rate when we're not even close to that. And when you look at, the numbers that we all see on these memes and everything about how many people die from the basic flu every year, I think it's just, there's just a lot of just misinformation from all sides of it. And I'm not saying it's not serious and I'm not saying it's not going to be serious.
Right.
I'm saying just be smart, you know what I mean? And, it's not about being quarantined. It's about just not being dumb about it. You know what I mean? It's like, don't go to crowded places and don't go to a lot of places that are heavily infected and, just don't travel as much, stuff like that. But the behaviors is the main thing that I'm seeing happening right now. And it's just started affecting me, like I said, tomorrow with my first showing being canceled by the seller, actually, and not my client. So,
how many people do you think, how many people, period, are reported in Grand Rapids of testing positive for corona? Now, we obviously know they haven't tested a large part of the population at all, but just how many confirmed cases are there? Do you know?
Five in Kent County, one in Ottawa County. So, I mean, not many, you know what I mean? And, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's actually a good time to write offers because you're not seeing as many people showing houses right now or looking at houses. So there's going to be less competition. So realistically, it's actually a great time to buy if you can get into the home. Yeah. I'm not worried about the market at all, man. I mean, there are people that should be, you know what I mean? And, you know, if people have overspent in the past, like, couple of years, those people spending $30,000 over list and, you know, offering appraisal guarantees where even if the house doesn't appraise, that they're going to pay out of pocket to get the house that they want, like, those people should probably worry.
All right, Crump, I want to thank you for joining us and letting us know from a realtor's perspective in Grand Rapids what's going on.
Yeah, of course.
Take care of yourself out there.
All right, see you, bro.
All right, it's time for your Instagram profile highlight of the week. Instagram profile highlight of the week is sponsored by NSX Channel on Instagram, your number one source for NSX content. You should be able to find my car on there. You should be able to find our Instagram profile highlight of the week's car on there as well. This week, it is Richard and Liz Graves at Lap of the World. Guys, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
So you have your YouTube channel. What is the concept behind Lap of the World? So it's, you know, you guys are NSX owners, you know, you're a couple, which is fucking awesome. And so you have all these videos, you guys are doing stuff together. You don't just do the videos because we ran into each other in Monterey Car Week last year.
So Lap of the World is, I've been calling it a racetrack odyssey. It's all about the road trips and racetracks. I know Liz and I both enjoy traveling. I enjoy the racetrack. She anticipates enjoying the racetrack. So at some point we decided that, hey, you know, rather than me trying to, you know, as I've joked before on one of my videos, I guess, on YouTube, I rather than trying to ruin my car further for the sake of competition, we're just going to say that variety is a spice of life and see how many different road courses we can drive and kind of across the United States and then in
That's
success
awesome.
across
in your
the
NSX
world.
with 283,000 miles on it.
283 right now. And basically anytime I tell anybody the mileage on that car, it's pretty much immediately out of date.
That's awesome. We're talking to Richard and Liz Graves of at Lap of the World out of Tennessee. You can follow them on Instagram at Lap of the World. You can check out their YouTube channel on at Lap of the World, 4 words. So what we've been doing with this episode is we've been trying to get the pulse of the country and how they're acting to you know, the coronavirus. And right now there's over 23 major cities that have gone to this state of emergency. I mean, what are you guys doing? Do you guys live in small town Tennessee? Big town? Is there a big town in Tennessee? What's the biggest city in Tennessee?
Memphis by population.
And I've been through Memphis. It's not huge. Are you guys feeling the effect? Are you guys feeling the scare? You know, just are you seeing it for people or how?
There was a guy next to me buying cups of, a bunch of cups of noodles and water. So it was a little crazy just seeing that. However, you also have people just going about their normal lives. So every restaurant is full. I mean, I think today when we went to Starbucks was the first time we noticed any restaurant or thing actually did anything. They had the inside of Starbucks closed. You could still go in, but you couldn't actually sit.
Grab and go only.
So you can go in and grab. So out here, and I said this earlier in this podcast, everything is shut down. I'm in Rancho Mirage right now.
Yeah, I just feel like it's a really strange time right now. And Tennessee, I mean, schools are closed for the next couple of weeks. I'll be really curious to see. I'm originally from Colorado and my sister's still out there and she was telling me how all the restaurants are closed. It's just grab and go. And now they've closed schools out there until April 20th. I mean, which, you know, is appropriate for Colorado, 420, but.
Touche. You guys have some time to do some Q&A when we get back?
No, most definitely.
Sure, sounds good.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to do a Q&A. Okay, welcome back. We're with Richard and Liz Graves of Lap of the World, and they're going to join me on this week's Q&A segment. So, guys, we have car questions and we have non-car questions.
That's tough. Let's go. The non-car stuff is going to be harder for me, probably. Let's get that. We'll get that out of the way.
All right, Liz.
That works for me.
So, Unleashed Beast, Unleashed_Beast, and that's 2 S's, asks, would you rather have $1 million tax-free or have your dogs live as long as you do?
That's rough. So we have two corgis, 3-year-old, 4-year-old.
One's 4 and one's 1.
Oh, you haven't had them very long. What's the life
No.
expectancy of a corgi?
They live pretty long. They're kind of, they're big dogs with short legs, but they have small dog lifespans, so probably 12 to 15 years, I think.
I don't know if I had that option. I mean, our dogs are very sweet, but very annoying as well.
There you go.
So I think I would choose to keep the dogs and we can earn $1 million.
Okay, so everybody knows I love Izzy. Like, Izzy is all over both of my Instagrams. He's my best friend. He's always waiting for me. He's done this thing this last couple of weeks when I'm at home. Like, I'll wake up and he'll literally be like next to me. And he's 12 years old. I'm just looking at it from a,
Yeah, that's a tough one.
pragmatic approach. $1 million tax free. So on my travel account, J_travels, I have an entire highlight reel full of nothing but Izzy. And I think I can live off of that for a while until I'm ready to let it go. So I'm sorry, Izzy, but I think I'm going to take $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, the pragmatic approach there is like, it would almost be irresponsible as heads of household, so to speak, to pass on the money.
Well, I also didn't think about the fact that we weren't saying that they were like indestructible for that, our whole lifetime.
That's
like,
true.
I don't know if I would want to have to pay for any, like, there's pet insurance is not that good, Well, we don't have pet insurance, but it's not that good that if they had to have surgery or broke a leg or something, and a 40-year-old dog is probably going to have those issues.
I don't know, though. I bet you could get some like pet food sponsorship or something once they lived to the point where it was highly
like a world
unusual
record
for the breed, and they became kind of pet, like old dog celebrities.
Our dogs are named Spatzel and Schnitzel, so I feel like we could make them celebrities.
Yeah. So while you're doing that, I'll just be counting my money. Next question, BDMSH_, which is Fahad. So the first one, Unleashed Beast, is Aaron, and this is from Fahad. Would you rather fight a horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? So you got to think about that for a second. So it's a giant duck. I wonder if could it be a pygmy duck, like a pygmy horse, or 100 little horses that are the size of a duck?
That's a tough one. I mean, that's 1 versus 100. However, small horses, as much as I'm an animal lover, if they were attacking me, you could kick them.
Yeah, ducks have kind of I'm not going to use.
There's 100 of them though, so we're talking like a horde. Like, you see the rats like run over people and skeletonize them in the movies.
But a horse-sized duck, I mean, it's not a goose. It's still a duck, but they still have a terrible temperament. And
can you imagine that poop?
I don't know that I'd even want to like fight a normal-sized duck. Never mind a horse-sized duck.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too, because horses don't seem to be that aggressive, but ducks and fowl in general are incredibly territorial and incredibly aggressive. Now, can you imagine a horse-sized duck, like what that bill could do to you?
Oh no, it would wreck your face.
Plus, 100 duck-sized horses would be adorable, really.
Yeah, you can make a little bunch of carriages.
Right up until I kick them if they tried to attack me. But otherwise, I would just, sell them as miniature horses.
You know what I would do? I would sell them to Budweiser for $1 million.
There you go.
Each.
Boom, we have our $1 million.
Yeah.
Each. Yeah.
I think I'd say 10 for $1 million, and then I'm rich. And then I'll go buy another Yorkie poo and call it Izzy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, let's move to our car questions. First one comes from Timpy_OG, and this is right up our alley. Would you ever consider getting a new NSX?
I mean, this is something we've talked about often.
The short answer for me is yes. But it would
after I get my,
after you get your first gen,
my first gen,
where I get hung up on it, if I have qualms about it, and it's mainly the issue of user serviceability. The reason I can have nice things automotively is that I'm not afraid of doing the work on them myself. At some point, with the hybridization and much more invasive electronic control, it becomes way more difficult. And
that's a fair point.
Yeah, while I feel I have some confidence in Acura, Honda's ability to build a solid car, I think that the true test of the long-term desirability and maybe the legacy of the NSX 2.0, the NC1, is going to be how well it ages from a reliability standpoint. I can put 283,000 miles on a Gen 1, have relatively few problems that are relatively inexpensive to fix if they happen. Could you do the same thing to a new one?
Yeah. And Liz, just taking a A lot lighter approach. Would you get one?
Yeah, I'd take one. It would do.
Yeah.
However, my mechanic over here
is that the one that was just speaking?
Have to work on it. Yes.
Okay. All right.
No,
yeah.
Dynamically, I haven't driven one yet. I've ridden in a couple of them at speed, being very well driven, and dynamically, I'm sold. I have no question it would be a blast of a car to drive. It's just that the X factor there of could I keep it running in the long term? That would give me any pause whatsoever.
However, I think it looked good on me.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
Oh, of course it would. I would get a new NSX. I've talked about it. That's the plan right now. The plan, while I would love to keep mine, I don't think that's feasible. I would probably end up having to sell my car as a down payment for a new NSX. But yeah, I would absolutely get one. And I think I would miss the manual transmission, but I have to be okay with that. Some of the people that I know who have bought one and sold their NSX, their first gen, has turned around and bought another first gen and kept the new NSX.
Yeah, that happens to everybody that seems to sell the first gen NSX, as though they end up buying a new one no matter what they have.
I don't know if I could do that because I put so much work into the one I have, and I've personalized it so much, even without the wrap. It's just
your car is so unique that would be a tough one to. It's not like you could just. I mean, even me with the sort of sentimental attachment I have to this one, if I had to go and get another one, I could approximate the driving experience and the ownership experience pretty quickly.
This topic is getting kind of sad, so let's move on to the next one. So what is your AZ McLaren, a man named Todd, AZ McLaren asks, what was your first JDM drive-in or purchase? Now, by asking that, probably up to us to decipher whether he's talking about right-hand drive or not, so I'm just going to assume no.
Okay, so first sporty Japanese something.
Yeah, that you rode in or you bought.
My first car was a Nissan 300ZX.
Nice. What year?
86.
Were they Datsuns then, or were they still Nissans?
Nissan.
Yeah, I don't remember the old. I had a friend in high school who had the Datsun like 200SX or 300SX or 3, whatever they were. The ones that are now people are fighting over.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to speculate because there's going to be some Nissan aficionado out there that'll crucify me for it. But it is early 80s, I think, when that changed, like 81, 82, maybe 80. I have a Datsun 2. I've got a 75 280Z.
Okay.
That is being neglected in my garage right now.
Well, if someone were to chime in and bitch about it, I'd be ecstatic because that means that more people are listening than I thought. So it could be a good thing.
Fair point.
Was that your first then?
Yeah, that was my
That was yours. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had prior and then overlapping the NSX to an extent, I had a 1991 Toyota MR2 Turbo.
Is that the first gen? It's not the smooth one.
Gen.
It's the second one. It's still boxy at that point?
No. This one was the baby Ferrari looking, snap oversteer and everything, MR2. So
okay,
that was a fun car. It was so you got the mid-engine experience, but it was. That's where I started my track and autocross quote unquote career with that car, and so that was definitely jumping in the deep end. I think the first track event I did was in a monsoon in a snappy mid-engine sports car, but
fun.
No, I kept that thing for 16 years, and for a long time it was my sole means of transportation, and it's shocking how practical they were for what they are. You think a mid-engine car, I mean, an NSX is pretty decent, has a big trunk. The MR2 had about as big of a trunk, plus it had a weather-sealed frunk, as well as little parcel shelves that were behind the seat. So especially for me, because I'm not that tall, but I could go to an autocross and actually fit, if I wasn't taking a passenger with me, I could fit a full additional set of wheels and tires in the car with me, plus a toolbox and jack and stuff to go to these events. So yeah, nice. Fond memories. MR2s, great cars.
I think for me, as much as I want to say it was my first Integra, I started thinking back, and I want to say in the early 90s, one of my best middle school friends bought a car, and I want to say it was a blue Daihatsu. And I remember he came over to my house. I don't think it had to have been a Daihatsu. He came over to my house and he asked me if I wanted to go for a ride. So we went to the stadium, the football stadium, high school stadium, a few blocks down the road, and he essentially taught me how to drive a stick, or at least the fundamentals of it. And eventually I actually learned on that guy's complete stranger's Mitsubishi Eclipse. And then, when I finally got my car in 1998, I kind of knew what I was doing. So yeah, I think my first JDM car is a Daihatsu, a little piece of shit, like 93 Daihatsu.
Those second gen Mitsubishi Eclipses, I think the one from Fast and Furious, but there was a special version of that. It's like probably my guilty pleasure car. It's like the car that I would never own up to really like.
Are you talking the Too Fast, Too Furious or whatever the second one is? The one in Miami, the super shitty one?
No, the green one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The sort of classic Paul Walker hero car from the first movie.
Yep.
That generation of Eclipse I always thought was really handsome. There was one version of it that was all-wheel drive that GSX
at the time.
Yeah, the GSX. When I was looking for cars, those were too new at the time, sort of out of scope. But I don't regret the MR2, but that was kind of like one of those cars that I think nowadays it's it's easier to admit to liking them. But
they were kind of chicky cars.
Yeah,
that was associated. Yeah. But they were fast. That's the thing. It's just, they were fast to us, right? So if you're in the MR2 and you're in the Integra GSR and you're in the Prelude, right? And the Volkswagen Corrados at the time, those are all within the same range. And then the Eclipses were, and the Lasers or Talons. I'm sorry, the Talons and the Eclipses were the ones that people used to be able to boost up and run down the quarter mile to compete with the diehard American muscle. I think those were the first ones people were able to get to kind of move. But everyone kept blowing their motors.
I'll say right up until their cranks took a walk on them or whatever.
Yep. Everybody I know. Everybody. Yeah. Well, guys, I want to appreciate you coming along for this Q&A and also discussing your YouTube, which is at the Lap of the World, or your Instagram at Lap of the World.
Yeah. Thanks for having us. It's been fun.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Richard and Liz. Have a good night and stay safe out there and make sure you have plenty of toilet paper.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Thank you for making it through another episode of Hard Parking Podcast. Want to make sure we thank our title sponsor, TalkMobileNet.com. Want to thank NSX Channel. You can follow them at NSX Channel and DressUpBulls.com. Special guest Crump from Michigan. RadOrDie joined from Arizona, and Alex joined from Seattle. Liz and Richard from Tennessee, and Nico from DC. Got a pretty good taste of what other areas of the United States are dealing with right now on different levels of the whole coronavirus and the multiple shutdowns and the toilet paper shortage. If you have any questions, you can always email me at hardparkingpodcast@gmail.com, or you can send me a DM on Instagram at NA2NSX. You can also follow our Facebook page, and we're also on Twitter under Hard Parking Pod. If you like what you've heard, make sure you share, subscribe, tell a friend. That's the best way we can grow. Let's do this. Let's grow this thing together. Everyone, please be safe out there. Take this thing serious. Pay attention. Take care of your health.